It is Saturday, the 12th of May at the Weather Network's National Weather Center. I'm Chris St. Clair. I want to talk about some much-needed rain. It came from an area of low pressure and brought thunderstorms into southern Ontario yesterday. Windsor, Sarnia, and London all saw some thunderstorms. No severe damage in any of this reported. The same area of low pressure is now giving firefighters in Quebec exactly what they needed. Some moisture. Officials say at least 2 days of rain are needed to reduce the risk of forest fires in Quebec, and it looks like that will come with this system. Some much-needed rain fell on parts of Quebec last night, and it's expected to continue into at least Monday or Tuesday. So far this year, firefighters have had to deal with over 250 forest fires in Quebec alone, and by the end of this weekend, the same weather system will continue east, and that could help alleviate concerns over some forest fires in Atlantic Canada. This spring, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland, believe it or not, have all been dealing with drier than usual conditions, but it's New Brunswick under the greatest risk of forest fires and a lack of rain. That has forced officials to post fire hazard warnings for most of the province. Earlier this week, they did see some rain in the east that helped ease concerns somewhat. Charlottetown and Halifax both set record amounts of rainfall on Thursday. In New Brunswick, there are still high or extreme warnings for about half the province for forest fires, though. And forestry officials in British Columbia and Alberta are also dealing with a very dry spring. Officials say the Kootenays and Okanagan regions of southeastern British Columbia are at risk because precipitation at least 30 to 40% below the average. And the same problem is already keeping fire crews in Alberta very busy. Since the beginning of the spring, they have been fighting grass fires almost non-stop. The tinder-dry terrain and high winds have made containing the fires a little more difficult. Some light rain likely in the next couple of days, but not nearly as much as is needed to reverse the situation. And the dry conditions also causing some problems in southern Alberta. This is the second year of low levels of precipitation, and now as the growing season begins, water is in short supply. Oga Nabosi has more in this report.
A lot of people say that they're really optimistic.
This is potato country about 100 kilometers east of Lethbridge in southern Alberta. But there is a severe drought in these parts. These cracked fields received only 1/3 of normal precipitation since January, delaying the growing season, making little dent in the reservoirs and leaving farmers with little but the faint hope for rain.
Potatoes are, I think they say about 90% water, and they got such a lush top growth. They need all the water they can to make a potato underground.
But the water supply for these farmers comes from the St. Mary's River Irrigation District, and the low mountain snowpack didn't create the necessary runoff to fill the reservoirs. The lowest is at 10% of its capacity, and that means there just isn't enough water to go around. Depending on where they live, farmers either have to pump water through pipes from the rivers and canals or have water diverted to their property from the reservoirs for irrigation. Farmers in this area are being forced to ration irrigation water. They're only eligible for less than half of what they'd get in a normal year, down from 450 millimeters to 200 millimeters for the entire year. Potatoes need more than double the rationed amount of water to grow.
We're all going to divide it up on the basis of what we used last year. We get a percentage. It's going to be roughly 50% of what was available in 2000.
So potato growers could be in trouble. Without enough irrigation water, they either have to purchase water from a neighbor or wait for rain and risk losing this year's crop if it doesn't come soon enough.
Disastrous maybe if we get no rain at all.
Changes to the Alberta crop insurance means drought-stricken farmers can now be covered for irrigated crops, something they haven't seen since 1988. And the Alberta government has also agreed to provide financial aid to troubled farmers. But many say the best gift now would be non-stop rain. For the Weather Network, I'm Oga Nabosi in Burdett, Alberta.
You know where else there's problems with drought? Florida, and it's causing a gator migration. Severe drought there causing problems for people and alligators. Officials say the gators are showing up now in residential neighborhoods. People are being warned to watch out for them in their backyards. The alligators have been forced to leave their dried up lakes in search of water. That's how dry it is in South Florida. That's weather and environmental news for now. Another weather brief for you in exactly 25 minutes.